Suspicion is not strong enough a word. The West should resist Islam in the strongest terms on free speech grounds alone. So here we are with this cartoon, right?
Now watch the Oxford Union absolutely panic as Lawrence Fox prepares to show them a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, and they're going to do everything they can to try and stop him. Notice on the envelope, it's got the letter CH. I imagine that's a reference to Charlie Hebdo, and we all know how that turned out. So they are terrified right now. Watch.
And it's time to show that I will not submit. I will not adhere to the religious laws of far-off places. Now, my wife asked me not to show this for fear of repercussions in my family, but I told her that if I did not, then I had already submitted to Islam. So here we are.
There we go.
Is it not enough that half the team that invited you to this debate were Muslim women who wanted to hear out your expression and your arguments? Is it not enough that I, as a Muslim president, have invited you to this chamber to give your arguments? Is that not enough justification and evidence for you to believe that we do believe in free speech? I would not become the president of a free speech society if not for this.
Thank you.
So, we had to fight to let you come here, and we want to hear what you have to say, but we just don't want you to show the image you want to show. But we want you to believe that we're free speech. Like, that's the argument. Does that make sense? But it continues from here.
All right. May I? Thank you very much. May I finish? Excuse me.
A point of order having been raised, I will hear the ex-librarian.
It's a long time since I've been in this chamber and knew the rules off by heart. In the House of Commons, and we model ourselves on the House of Commons, props are not allowed. I wonder whether the rule on props is the same in the Oxford Union.
So, Jacob Rees-Mogg, we want to be as professional as we are in the House of... No, Jacob, you're scared. You are terrified. You are pissing in your pants right now because you're scared that the Batley Grammar School, what happened to the Batley Grammar School teacher might happen to Lawrence Fox and might happen to you because you're in this debate. You're terrified. But don't worry. Let Lawrence show you what bravery looks like. Just take a seat. Just chill.
I thank the honourable gentleman for his point of order.
Excuse me for 1 second.
One moment.
In the absence,
Mr. Fox,
in the absence,
one moment, Mr. Fox. The ex-president is also raising a point of order, I think.
Just so it's helpful to inform the ex-librarian others, at least my 4 years old society, that ban was not extended and didn't seem to apply to Israel and Palestine flag.
Thank you. So, right. I just want to wrap this up.
I am going to rule on the point of order. There is no bar in the forms of the House against the use of props. However, I would encourage Mr. Fox to make the point and move on.
One question. Is Islam anti-free speech? And it's taken all this length of time for him to just show an image, and he hasn't even told them what the image is.
I was until points of order. So it is in that spirit that I will not submit that I show you this as an Englishman who believes in free speech.
Hey!
I will not submit.
Oh my God! Look at Jacob. Look at Jacob Rees-Mogg. Look at him. He is so. Oh man. He is so relieved right now. Like literally his whole life flashed before his very eyes. He's safe. But the fact that he's laughing now, when just a few moments ago, he was so strictly anti this prompt that's bringing him so much joy right now, shows you the problem. And watch Lawrence Fox land the plane.
I will not bow down.
Come on. Yes.
Right. So, I think which rather proves the point I was trying to make.
Absolutely.
That in this envelope lived your fear.
Yes. And
your fear of Islam and what Islam will do to you that when you upset its very oversensitive sky wizard. Absolutely. And what lived in this room is a healthy and brilliant and noble British tradition of suspicion of Islam. I encourage you to pass the motion. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Now, you'd think after hearing that, the point has been made, there's no coming back from this. But believe it or not, one of the people he's debating, literally stands up and when giving her counter-argument, literally proves the point even better than Lawrence Fox did. Just take a listen.
Perhaps tonight's motion is less about the West's relationship with Islam and more about yours. Stephen Yaxley Lennon, known to his hooligans as Tommy Robinson. Stephen, there is a crowd outside rioting against you tonight, and without the protection and generosity of a Muslim Palestinian president and a mostly South Asian executive committee, you would be quite literally cooked.
She thinks she did something. She really thinks she did something. So basically, someone who speaks out against Islam can't speak out against Islam unless some Muslims protect him because other Muslims will attack him. this is the argument. This is the idea. And do you know what? I really, really, really feel sorry for a lot of the people like her who basically have to go out and say that Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is about free speech. Because as they're doing that, other Muslims are literally telling the world what the truth is. I mean, just listen to this.
There's no way any man on this earth would be able to stand and burn a Quran in my face. There's just no way that would happen. Like, there would definitely, I would definitely choose violence.
But you accept then that, but Adam, you would accept then that you would have broken the law and be convicted for it?
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah. I'd accept that.
So why,
100%.
and that's because the Quran matters so much to you that you would be willing to potentially go to prison for a violent act if someone was burning it in front of you?
To be honest with you, I've been to prison for less than that, so yeah, that's very important. Yeah.
Tom doesn't know what to do with it. I think one of the comments summed it up best. Offended by everything and ashamed of nothing. That is literally the state of so many people who supposedly love the Quran, love Islam so much, whilst others want to then go and tell you that Islam is a religion of peace. And, this isn't real Islam. This is just the fringe ones because, ordinary Muslims, most Muslims are perfectly fine. Now, here's what's important to understand. As many people always say, yes, there are loads of Muslims who are not violent, who are lovely, who are wonderful. However, that doesn't mean that Islam itself is peaceful. And if you've noticed, the Muslims who are peaceful and who don't hold anti-Western, anti-British, anti-Christian views are the Muslims that live in Britain, right? What do you think happens as a society becomes more and more and more Muslim? And it's like they constantly tell us time and time again. People constantly tell us time and time again about wanting to bring in Sharia law, controlling how people dress, controlling what you can and can't say about the Prophet, controlling. In fact, many Muslims celebrate the concept of the jizya tax, where non-Muslims have to pay Muslims for protection in a Muslim land. They tell us these things, and yet the liberal establishment not only tries to ignore this issue, they then actively defend this ideology. The Labour Party constantly rushing to put in Islamophobia laws in our books so that we wouldn't even be able to have these conversations. Like, this video could literally land me in jail in a Muslim country. Whilst, blasphemy laws are something that Christians had fought against centuries before. The last person that was put to death for blasphemy against the Christian faith was in like the 1600s. And Protestants really pushed back against that. Whereas the last person that was executed, in fact, I've got it up. One of the last people that was executed in Pakistan. Let me see if I can find this. One of the last people that was executed in Pakistan for blasphemy, he was like 2024. A student who was sentenced to death over WhatsApp messages. This is what happens when Islam becomes the law of the land. And if we want to protect our way of life, the wonderful way of life that the Christian faith has built in this wonderful nation, then we need to not only, as Lawrence said, be suspicious of Islam, but we need to completely reject that ideology. Now, that doesn't mean we should go out and attack Muslims. In fact, let's try and help them see the truth and bring them away from Islam into the truth of Christianity, into the truth of loving this great nation. Now, if you enjoyed this video, check out the one on your screen. I know you'll love that one too. I'll see you there. Peace and blessings.